Let me start with this: men don't fall in love with women who are endlessly available. They fall in love with women who know their worth. Why? Because boundaries aren't walls, they're invitations. Boundaries say, this is who I am, this is what I accept, and if you want to be close to me, step up and meet me here. And that, my friend, is magnetic. Here's something we often forget. The way you treat yourself teaches people how to treat you. If you constantly put your own needs aside, always saying yes when you want to say no, always giving more than you receive, you may think you're showing love, but what you're really showing is that your time, energy, and emotions are up for grabs. And that's the fastest way to lose respect in any relationship. Men, in particular, notice this more than they admit. They notice when a woman bends over backward to please them, when she accepts poor behavior, when she tolerates inconsistency. On the surface, they might enjoy the convenience, but deep down, something is lost: respect. And without respect, attraction eventually fades. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a woman who values herself enough to say, I'm not available to be treated casually. Or, if you want my time, you need to value it. That woman is sending a signal, without shouting it, without arrogance, without playing games. She's simply saying, I matter. And when she does that, she's teaching a man that if he wants to be part of her life, he has to rise to her level. That's not about power games, it's about self-worth. Respect begins with how you hold yourself. If you don't treat yourself like you're valuable, how can you expect someone else to? Think about this. Boundaries aren't about pushing someone away. They're about drawing a line that says, here is where I begin, and here is what I need to stay true to myself. And when you do that, it doesn't repel a man. It attracts him. Because men, just like women, are drawn to strength. Not the loud, aggressive kind of strength, but the quiet, steady kind. The kind that says, I'm not afraid to walk away if I'm not valued. That strength is rare, and rare is irresistible. Here's the other truth: a woman who has self-respect sets the tone for the entire relationship. She creates an environment where kindness, consistency, and effort are the standard. She doesn't have to beg for it. She doesn't have to chase it. She simply lives it. And when a man sees that, he knows he has to bring his best if he wants to keep her. There's no shortcut around that. The irony is, so many people think setting boundaries makes you harder to love, but the reality is the opposite. Boundaries make it easier for the right person to love you because they know exactly how to treat you. They don't have to guess where the line is. They don't have to wonder what matters to you. You've already made it clear you respect yourself and you expect the same in return. That kind of clarity doesn't just build attraction, it builds trust. And trust is the heart of any love worth having. One of the most overlooked truths in dating and relationships is that attraction thrives on curiosity. When everything about you is available all the time, your attention, your energy, your schedule, there's nothing left for him to discover, nothing left to earn. And yet, when you set clear boundaries, when you say no to things that don't align with your values, when you choose carefully how you give your time, you create a natural sense of mystery that pulls him in. Mystery isn't about playing games or being deliberately confusing. It's about showing that you have a life that doesn't revolve around someone else. Picture this. A man calls last minute to hang out, but you've already made plans for yourself. Maybe it's a dinner with a friend. Maybe it's a workout you promised yourself you'd go to. Maybe it's simply a quiet evening of self-care. Instead of dropping everything to accommodate him, you say, I'd love to see you, but I can't tonight. Let's plan for another time. In that moment, you've communicated something powerful. You've shown that you value your own time, that your life has structure and meaning outside of him. And what does that do? It makes him more curious about you. It makes him wonder, what's she doing? What matters so much that she won't compromise? That intrigue is part of what keeps the spark alive. Men are wired to value what they invest in. If you're always readily available, there's no challenge, no pursuit, no effort required. But when you set healthy boundaries, When you show that you're not going to say yes to everything, you create a dynamic where he feels he has to step up, he has to prioritize you, he has to prove that spending time with him is worth rearranging your schedule. And that pursuit deepens his attraction. Mystery also comes from the fact that boundaries protect your individuality. You're not blending your life so completely into his that you lose yourself. You still have your passions, your friendships, your goals. You're not abandoning who you are to fit into his world. Instead, you're inviting him into yours. That contrast keeps the relationship exciting because he never feels like he's figured you out completely. There's always more to learn, more to discover, more depth to explore. And that's what keeps relationships from becoming stale. The key is to understand that boundaries aren't barriers. They're filters. They filter out the moments that don't honor your time and energy while protecting the ones that truly matter. And in doing so, they create space for him to miss you, to long for your presence, to appreciate the moments you do share. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, but only if you're strong enough to create that absence when it's needed. At the end of the day, mystery isn't about being unavailable just to seem hard to get. It's about being deeply available to yourself first. It's about knowing that your time is precious, your energy is valuable, and anyone who wants access to it has to treat it with respect. That's not a game, that's self-worth. And self-worth, wrapped in a little mystery, is absolutely irresistible. Here's the truth no one likes to hear: not every man who walks into your life has pure intentions. Some are looking for convenience, not commitment. They enjoy attention, affection, and even the comfort of your presence. But when it comes to showing up consistently or building something meaningful, they fall short. And if you don't have boundaries, you'll never know which man is which, because both will take what you give. Boundaries, however, are the great filter. They separate the ones who just want something easy from the ones who are ready for something real. Think about it this way when you say, "I don't accept last-minute plans," or "I need consistency in how you show up," or "If you disappear for days, I won't keep engaging." You're not being demanding. You're simply clarifying the standard. And what happens when you do that? The man who only wanted your time when it was convenient for him will vanish. He'll call you too much, or too picky, or too difficult. And that might sting at first. But let's be real. If he leaves because you set a boundary, you didn't lose a man, you lost a distraction. Now, here's the magic: the man who truly values you, the one who's actually interested in building a connection, won't be scared off. He'll lean in. He'll hear your boundary and think, "Okay, she's serious about herself. If I want her, I need to bring more to the table." That's the kind of man you want in your life. The one who's not deterred by effort, the one who sees your boundaries not as barriers, but as guidance on how to love you better. Without boundaries, everything gets blurry. A guy can keep you in limbo, giving you just enough attention to stay hooked, but never enough to move things forward. And months later, you're still asking yourself, what are we? But boundaries eliminate the gray area. They create clarity. They force him to reveal whether he's here for convenience or commitment. And clarity, even when it's uncomfortable, is always a gift. The most empowering part of this is that boundaries give you back control. Instead of waiting around, hoping he chooses you, hoping he changes, you create a standard that makes him decide quickly if he's in or out. And if he's out, good. That frees up space for the man who's truly aligned with what you want. Here's what it comes down to. A man's reaction to your boundaries is the clearest indicator of his intentions. If he pushes back, manipulates, or disappears, he was never planning to give you what you deserved. But if he respects your boundaries, even if it challenges him, he's showing you that he sees your worth and he's willing to rise to it. Boundaries don't chase away the right man, they reveal him. And once you see that, you'll never fear setting them again. One of the biggest fears many women carry is that if they set boundaries, they'll be seen as difficult, demanding, or even unlovable. It's the fear of being too much. So They stay quiet when something bothers them. They accept less effort than they deserve. They bite their tongue when a man crosses a line, hoping he'll just figure it out on his own. But here's the reality: silence doesn't earn you respect. It earns you tolerance. And nobody falls deeply in love with someone they merely tolerate. Respect is born when someone recognizes that there are lines they cannot cross. It's not about being controlling, it's about having standards. Think about the people in your own life that you admire most. They're not the ones who let you get away with anything, are they? They're the ones who stood firm on what they believed in, who showed you through their actions what they would and wouldn't accept. That's why you look up to them. That's why you trust them. Boundaries don't create resentment. They create admiration. When a woman sets a boundary with a man, at first he might feel challenged. He might even feel uncomfortable. But that discomfort is a good thing. It forces him to pause and realize, this isn't someone I can treat casually. This isn't someone I can take for granted. And even if he doesn't say it out loud, deep down, he respects her for it. Because strength is attractive. Values are attractive. Clarity is attractive. The irony is that men don't respect the woman who never says no. They enjoy her availability, but they don't admire it. It's the woman who can lovingly but firmly draw a line who earns their respect. Because when she does, she communicates two powerful truths. I know my worth, and I trust you enough to expect more from you. That's not rejection. It's actually an invitation for him to rise. And the right man won't resent that. He'll feel honored by it. Here's another layer to this: boundaries prevent bitterness. When you don't set them, you end up over-giving, overstretching, and silently resenting the person for not meeting needs you never clearly expressed. That resentment poisons the connection over time. But when you speak your truth up front, you protect the relationship. You make it safe for both people, because there's no guessing, no silent suffering, no hidden scorecards. Just honesty. And honesty builds respect like nothing else. The truth is, men don't fall in love with women they pity. They don't fall in love with women they can walk all over. They fall in love with women they respect. And that respect is earned when you have the courage to say, this is what I need. This is what I won't accept. And this is how I deserve to be treated. Boundaries don't push the right man away. They pull him closer. Because every man is drawn to the woman who knows her value and has the strength to protect it. That's not too much. That's exactly enough. Attraction is easy in the beginning. It's fueled by novelty, excitement, and that rush of chemistry that makes everything feel electric. But here's the catch. Initial chemistry isn't enough to sustain a real relationship. That spark fades if there's no substance behind it. And this is where boundaries come in. Boundaries are what transform short-lived excitement into long-term attraction. They don't just keep a man interested in the moment, they keep him invested over time. Think about how relationships lose their magic. It usually happens when one person starts to feel taken for granted. When effort decreases, when appreciation fades, when respect isn't upheld, attraction dies. And without boundaries, it's almost inevitable. Why? Because if you don't set limits on what you'll accept, you allow the slow erosion of standards. At first it's small. He cancels plans last minute and you brush it off. Then it's bigger. He stops putting in the same effort he did at the start and you quietly accept it. Over time, you wake up in a relationship that feels lopsided, where you're giving more than you're getting. That's not a recipe for lasting attraction. That's a recipe for resentment. Boundaries prevent that cycle. They're like guardrails that keep the relationship on track. When you say, I need consistency, or I expect follow-through, you're ensuring that the respect and effort that built the relationship in the first place doesn't fade away. You're saying, I value myself too much to allow this connection to slip into neglect. And that keeps the attraction alive because it reminds him that your standards remain high, no matter how long he's known you. Men thrive on knowing they're winning with the woman they love. When you set boundaries, you give him something to rise to again and again. You're not letting him get lazy or complacent. You're keeping the fire alive by showing that your love isn't unconditional in the sense of accepting poor behavior. Your love is unconditional in your care and presence, but it comes with the condition of mutual respect and effort. And that balance is what creates a love that doesn't just survive, it thrives. Another powerful thing about boundaries is that they keep you grounded in who you are. You don't lose yourself in the relationship because you're constantly reinforcing that your needs matter, your values matter, and your individuality matters. And the more you stay true to yourself, the more he gets to experience the fullness of who you are. That authenticity is endlessly attractive because it means he's not with a watered down version of you. He's with the real you, the strong you, the vibrant you. At the end of the day, lasting attraction isn't about endless romance or constant butterflies. It's about building respect, trust, and consistency that keep both people showing up fully. Boundaries make that possible. They ensure that the effort never stops, that appreciation never fades, and that both partners keep seeing each other as valuable. And when a man knows he can never take you for granted, he'll never stop being drawn to you. That's how boundaries don't just create attraction, they make it last a lifetime.